Countries all over the world are celebrating now that the Duchess of Cambridge has given birth to a boy. Why is America so fascinated with the latest addition to the monarchy? For more, we turn to Elizabeth Cawthorn, Professor of History at the University of Texas at Arlington and a royal expert. Dr. Cawthorn, thank you very much for joining us.
You're very welcome.
So, the US is famous for having thrown off the yoke of a bad royal, if you like, and said we're going to be a republic here. Why do we still have a fascination with the royal family, a royal family that the country rejected?
There certainly are a lot of people in the United States who currently are asking that very question. I think it has to do with several things. First of all, a love of celebrity, pure and simple. I think people from the United States are tourists, and they enjoy this as a spectacle. And I think the British are not keen to disabuse people from the United States of that. It is, after all, a very good tourist attraction, the royal family and monarchy, the trappings of monarchy. I do think historically, though, that the United States also has some ties with England and with the British Isles, certainly going back to the Great Wars. My father himself was a U.S. serviceman and spoke admiringly of the British people. And I think that there are a lot of people who at least know grandparents or great-grandparents who have such fond memories of the English. And so I think that in part it's those ties that go back to the era of Roosevelt and Churchill.
Now, also we've got the son of Princess Diana. Princess Diana herself, a massive favorite with the British public and with the world's public, and now her son married to a young woman who's also very popular. Does this continue the sort of the Diana legacy that's sort of very much out there in the media?
Yes, I think it does. I think that Diana's legacy is very strong. And again, I think just that element of celebrity. I think that in the United States, there was a little bit of a sense that, a little bit of a, I can't say disappointment because, of course, one hopes for a healthy child. But I think that there was the sense that it was time for there to be a girl on the throne again, and for the throne to pass down to a girl in a way that had nothing to do with male primogeniture. So I think in the United States, there might be a little sense of disappointment that there was not a pushing of that, pushing of the envelope a little bit.
I don't think you're alone there. I think there was a lot of disappointment, including in the office here. But I would point out that some of our greatest monarchs have been women, and none of our worst.
I'm going back into history, and I'm thinking of 7, depending on how you count. It's either 6 or 7, certainly since the time of the Norman Conquest. And so I think that we can't say that it's historically usual to have a female monarch. I think the sense, though, in the United States was that it was time. But I think that to go back to your question a little bit, I think that any child and grandchild of Diana will be very popular in the United States and will be photogenic and will be watched very carefully in the United States.
Stay with us, Dr. Cawthorn. Now, we have a statement now from the Prince of Wales, that's Prince Charles. Quote, "Both my wife and I are overjoyed at the arrival of my first grandchild. It's an incredibly special moment for William and Catherine, and we are so thrilled for them on the birth of their baby boy. Grandparenthood is a unique moment in anyone's life, as countless kind people have told me in recent months. So I'm enormously proud and happy to be a grandfather for the first time. We're eagerly looking forward to seeing the baby in the near future." He sounds like a very happy grandpa, very happy man. So this is a lot of generations of royal family. They do seem to be a very long-lived family. Queen Victoria lived to a ripe old age. Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother, lived to a ripe old age. The current Queen is going strong. Is this going to be, a lot of generations all at once, you think?
Yes, it is, and it's awfully hard to predict, although I think, again, historically, we go back to the time of Victoria. We have a reigning female monarch at that time, someone who was on the throne for 60-plus years, as Elizabeth II has been. We have then, if we're going to predict, and it's, of course, impossible to do that, but if we were to predict, one would say that the next person to take the throne, the current Prince of Wales, would reign for only a short time if we are to go back to the time of Edward, who was Victoria's son, who reigned for about 10 years during what is sometimes called the Edwardian era. So the men in this particular family, if I may say so, do not tend to live as long as the ladies in this family.
They certainly don't. And well, obviously we all wish they all live to ripe old ages. We have to leave it there. Dr. Cawthorn, we thank you very much for your time.
You're very welcome.